Hello quilty friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Rachel and I make videos about sewing and quilting. It is mainly handwork that I do, but I wanted to know if you wanted to start a new project with me. I'm just the worst. I just really feel in the mood today to do some machine sewing, but I don't want to do any cutting and I just want to sew on the machine. So I have got upstairs some bags of sort of maybe 1-inch strips, 1.5-inch strips. I'm sorry if you can hear the plane, I'll just wait. So with these strips, I thought they would be the perfect sort of ready to stitch sort of fabric that I could use. They are scraps, but I did buy them from the Festival of Quilts. I'll show them to you in just a moment once I've got everything set up. But a while ago I saw a video on TikTok that was I'll try and put the footage of it over top and credit who the original person was. So what this quilt is I think it's using a product from America that's called scrap tape, and it always seems to be out of stock when I look to buy the product. So I've got an alternative lined up, which again I'll show you in a moment. But it is a row of strips that are all pieced together, and then a row of a low volume matching fabric, and then you just repeat that throughout the whole quilt. Hopefully you're seeing this as I'm talking about it, and I'm thinking that I might try and recreate that, perhaps as a quilt for a gift for someone else. So I fancy starting that this evening, just as something to have on the go, no cutting required, just so. You know, when you just want a little bit of like accomplishment. I know hand sewing is just amazing, but it takes quite a while, doesn't it? So let's get started with the project. Many of you might know that I just craft in my living dining room. This is my dining table here, so let's get that sorted out first. So hopefully you saw me then getting everything tidied off on the table. That's my dog playing with the toys. So the fabrics that I've got then, these are scrap bundles that I purchased from the Festival of Quilts. So they're called snippets and they're from a company called the Cotton Patch, but I don't think they sell them online. It's just like a festival special. So we've got a blue here. We've got plain blues and greens, and then I think these are Tula pink. So blues and greens, lots of different ones, and then we've got a pinks, purples, yellows, oranges pack from Tula Pink, and I think these go together really nice. All of those. And then I've also got my basket here of strips. They're not all going to be appropriate, but there's certainly quite a few blues. Some of them probably are too thin. And that's the main thing that I'm going to try and keep consistent here, is a 1/4-inch seam allowance. Because I'm not always very good at that, and I don't want, you know, the structure of this quilt to be compromised. So I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but this technique was inspired by Kate at the last Homely House. She did a brilliant video on this. I think it was maybe 12 months ago or so now. And what she used to make the strips was machine adding tape. And I can't seem to get any of that isn't like a bulk amount of rolls. And I don't think I will use that much. But basically what you need is some form of paper. that comes in a long quantity that isn't thermal, so that it isn't affected when you put the iron on it. So I have my own business, and I use a shipping label. So they're like this, and it comes on a roll and it feeds through the printer and it prints out. You probably have all seen shipping labels. So these are quite good. They are perforated, but the perforation isn't very good. So I have hopes that they will stay secure. And all I'm going to do is layer my strips onto here and sew directly onto the paper, and it will stabilise it, especially with them being such thin strips. Now this is 5 packing labels long. So what would that be? They're 4x6, these labels are, so you can do the math. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to piece directly onto the paper. Any random assortment, I'm just going to sort of pick out scraps and just sew. I've got 3 pieces of these, 4 pieces I think. So I'll just chain piece them continuously one after another, and I'll see how far we can get. I will link the video that Kate at the Last Homely House did, because she will explain it in a lot more detail. I just sort of wanted a little bit of company on this sewing project. So I'll link that down below. You can go ahead and watch that. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this. How about I will check in with you maybe at the end of my evening of sewing. I might have to do it tomorrow because it's already 5:30 now and it's getting a bit dull, the light is. So maybe if I show you tomorrow morning, and then I'll upload this video and I'll keep you posted on where I actually get with this project. So stay tuned. So just here next to me on the sewing machine, I've just picked out a handful from each of the bags, and I've just put them here next to me. I love just like these will be a brilliant, I don't know if I'll use that, but they'll be a brilliant pop of contrast, especially the Tula Pinks. I love those. So let's get started. Right then, so I've got my first strip. I need to leave a 1/4 inch at the top and a 1/4 inch at the bottom. So this one here that I've just done, that's going to be no good because that is literally only slightly bigger than the thing. So I'm just going to rip it off. We'll start again. And I guess I'll rip this one off because I haven't left a 1/4 inch on this edge. So you see, it will be very easy to remove the paper when the time comes. But this piece here, I can't use that because it's not big enough. So let's start again. There we go. So somewhat of a messy first piece. So let me put another piece down now then. I am going to try and pick them at random, but it's a bit hard. They're just underneath where you are, if you're wondering. Let's go. Right. But this one doesn't matter because this is not a printed fabric. So I'm just going to put it right sides together, run it under the machine, 1/4 inch again. So now I'm going to fold that back. I'm just going to finger press it, and I'll press them once I've got a few going, and then I'm going to choose another piece to go next to it. I think I need some more variety, so I might pull out some more. Just a little bit. So I'll just show you how far I've got. So as you can see, I've used the mix of the blues, some lime greens and some yellows and oranges thrown in there as well. Now, these aren't quite what I would make maybe for a project for myself, but I am going to make this and it will go as a gift. And obviously the rows will go together like this, and so yeah, these typically aren't the colour theme that I would go for, but I do really enjoy putting them together. I think they're so bold and vibrant. And I did try and make sure that the paper would come out, and it did just rip out absolutely fine there. And so I ironed them and they iron really well. So I really like the idea of using, you know, a waste product for the paper. And what I'm thinking for the whole quilt, like I showed you in the beginning, so if I lay it out like this, so it will be a row of the colour, and then this will be a low volume fabric, and then I'll put another row of this and it will just continue down the quilt. That's what I'm thinking so far. I will obviously have to save a lot more of the papers, but once I've got more papers, I've only got 4 here, so the chain piecing was a bit, you got into it and then you had to cut them off again. So once I've got a few more papers, I think it will be a lot more easier to get on a roll with it. So yeah, I'm going to leave the sewing machine set up, and I'm just going to continue doing this maybe for the rest of the week and see how far I get, and maybe I'll update you at the end of the week or the weekend so you can see how much I've got done. You'll have to hold me to that now. I'm being held accountable for my my new starts. Anyway, if you have any questions, do just leave me a comment down below. But thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.